Patrick, the Vikings are not playing good football. Let's get to them. 1-4 now, and 0-3 at home. The Chiefs were very beatable on Sunday. I know they're the defending Super Bowl champions, but they were very beatable in that game. I don't think
Chiefs drove them down the field for their touchdown there in the first half.
Yes.
The Chiefs basically said, don't worry, we got this. We'll get you in the end zone here. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, you're right. It was, the Chiefs, I mean, we're talking about having a couple of passes and Hawkinson had a bad day, man.
He had like four balls in his hands that he didn't catch.
Yeah, I know. You're big, strong tight end with a big reach. That's supposed to be able to take advantage of that. But the fact that I think Suhan wrote a column Sunday in which he said that the Chiefs wide receivers would be on the Vikings practice squad, and he's right. This guy's playing with a bunch of mutts. Kelsey's got to go limping back out there with a bad ankle, and he still throws him 5 passes because he doesn't have anybody else.
Right.
One reason Mahomes' numbers aren't as good is there's about a 50% chance when he hits somebody in the chest, he'll drop it. So, that was an extremely beatable Chiefs team. And I know there's some complaints about the refs, but I didn't think that was interference down there. I didn't think they could hand him the game on that play. I was surprised they went and talked him out of it. But
I was too, but I didn't think that was a bad call.
That was I don't know. Andy didn't have one of his great games either. If you're going to go for it on fourth, everyone in the arena, once you start doing the hard count and put him up behind everybody in the arena knows you're not going to go for it. So what are you trying to do here? It's, go for 1 yard or don't go for 1 yard. But this whole silly thing, I didn't think Andy had one of his great games either. But blowing the 3 timeouts during the, people get paranoid about saving timeouts, but you found out why yesterday.
Yeah.
What was that? So Harrison Smith had to call a timeout for the last one because they didn't know what they were doing on defensively on a fourth short play when they were down on the goal line. Yeah,
they were worried about what they were doing there. Yeah,
and then O'Connell was yelling at him for that. But get the right defense on the field, and maybe he doesn't have to do that. So, yeah, that was not a. And the other thing is they go down and they're on their way to score touchdowns against a mediocre defense in the first half, and they end up kicking 2 field goals instead.
I know. Drives you crazy. Like this is supposed to be the good thing about this team, and that's I'm not terribly impressed by the O'Connell offense over 22, 23, whatever games they've played now. I think they've got some big play potential. They've got Justin Jefferson. That Justin Jefferson remains and will remain the best part about that offense, although he's hurt now too. Yes. So good luck as long as he's out.
If they never throw another screen pass, it'll be too soon for me. God almighty. They didn't throw the tight end screen pass. I think they threw one, but they threw the little one behind the line to the back a couple of times. What is their love affair with the screen pass?
I don't know.
They don't complete. They end up 2nd and 12 a lot more than they end up, 2nd and 2 on their screen passes.
Although I will say Madison would have walked into the end zone and tied that game if he would have caught that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was one of the worst drops of all time right there because you're absolutely wide open. So, it's, it was, still. What old Patty tell you all summer? The football gods, baby. You stole 11. You won 11 one-score games last year, and you stole like 4 or 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
And now you've lost. I can't say the football gods cost you the game in Philadelphia because you gave up 300 yards rushing, but you've had 3 coin tosses, and you lost the coin toss on all three of them, and now you're 1-4. And look out for the
I
Bears,
was gonna say,
baby.
are
The
we sure?
Bears are back.
Are
The
we
Bears
sure?
are back.
Are we sure they're better than the Bears? I don't
I
know.
know.
I'm
The
being
Bears.
serious here. The Bears have scored more points this year than the Vikings. We make fun of Justin Fields and the Bears. They've scored more points than the Vikings this year. Justin Fields has had 4 touchdown passes each of the last 2 weeks. I
Yes,
mean, I'm
right.
suddenly worried how they're going to stop the Bears, and I'm not kidding.
I think you're absolutely right. I watched them, and I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was watching like part of the first half. The Vikings weren't playing or something yet, but and it was 21-7, and the Bears were running happily off the field against at home against Denver. And how they lost that game,
I
I
don't
have
know.
no
Yeah, I still
idea.
don't know
But
either.
yesterday they go out and put up 40,
Yes.
So I'd be very careful. All of us, if Justin Fields actually knows, has learned how to throw the ball in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, there's no guarantee because you're not, you got your problems. And if Jefferson's not playing,
Yeah.
if Jefferson, you know what the number is going to be on that game? About 3. The Vikings are going to be about 3-point favorites on that game.
I haven't even seen I haven't seen it yet. Have they released it yet?
No, no, I don't. But I'm just guessing that it's going to be 3. It's going to be 4 or less after the Vikings performance. But yeah, it's Tony Romo was really praiseworthy. Now Tony praises
Yes.
has gotten into the praise everything. He's challenging Collinsworth for the most gushing he can do now.
Yes.
But he was telling us yesterday this Viking team's better than last year's Viking team.
Yes, he was saying at the beginning, he was like, "You're Vikings fans. You're gonna like, just give this team a little time. You're gonna like it." That was like the chef's kiss of the whole day because then they go out and
Yeah.
fumble on the first possession. How'd you like this too, by the way? How'd you
Oh yeah.
like? We'll get to Fleck's team in a little bit, but how'd you like Gophers throwing a pick six right away,
On the first play.
over giving up a first pitch home run, and then the
Yeah.
Vikings fumbling on the first play from scrimmage. It was not
Yes,
a great
man.
that was not a
Yeah.
great start to those 3
Yeah.
games. The Twins saved them last night from a
Yeah.
disaster
Yeah.
of a weekend.
Yeah, they did. That is true. Let's come out there and trick them by throwing to our big lumbering second tight end and he
Who
fumbles
I
it.
like, by the
First
way. I think
fumble in
he's
his
better. I think he's better
first
than
fumble in his life, but I don't know. It's a weird year to say the least. That's for sure.
and they got no chance.
I
They
don't
got no
think
chance 2 weeks from now. No chance to beat San Francisco. That team is
no. They're
3 classes ahead of them right now.
Is that guy? Is that here or there?
Yes. So it'd be 0-4 at home at that point.
Wow, Sanford. Brock Purdy. I don't know. Old time quarterback. Just doesn't make mistakes and has great players around him.
Yeah.
They're something.
You saw what they did to Dallas last night. Was that 42-10?
Apart. Yeah, tore them apart. So yeah, that's good. I don't know. I also gave Kirk a C+ for yesterday too. I didn't think he was that. He missed they dropped a few, but he missed a few too. That ball he threw to Osborne and people said he ducked. Well, nobody know. He didn't know where throw the ball out in front of him where you're supposed to, or a touchdown. And he threw the ball. He threw the ball early, and he threw it lousy. And now, Matt, as you said, if Madison hadn't dropped that ball, everything would have looked a lot better. But I didn't think he was that good.
No.
He actually ran out of the pocket once, so that was a miracle to see to get some yards. So
no,
I don't know. They're facing the revenge for their good fortune of last year. So
yes, and every loss convinces us more that this will be a new quarterback next year. Even if we can all agree that it's not all his fault that Kirk Cousins is an above average quarterback, like they're not gonna keep running this back. They're not gonna keep doing this. He just the quarterback who can run for a first down more than just once every surprising 2 games. Like that's like a get out of jail free card for an offense. You gotta have that element these days.
That's the new NFL. Yeah, you need the guy You can't be a standing target. Sure, Stafford gets away with it, but because he's got such good players surrounding him, but that not many people do. I'll tell you who might take Kirk though for next year on a 1 year loan would be maybe New England. How about that?
That's funny. I texted a friend that last night because Mac Jones, maybe Mac Jones can come here and resurrect his career because
I don't
they're
know.
going to need a bridge quarterback somewhere in there because, yeah, he
I said
was
on Twitter,
terrible.
those poor New England fans have been through so much pain, So
Yeah.
34-0. Wow. Unbelievable. They stink.
Yeah, they're bad. He got benched for a second straight week, and
And then they bring in some guy nobody ever heard of.
Bailey Zappi. I feel like he had to play. He
The
play
Reno
against the
League.
Vikings at one point. I don't know. I'm trying to remember when they.
Anyway, yeah, it's kind of fun to see Belichick being terrible. I would have loved to have been in that press conference asking him questions yesterday. I'm sure he gave you some very fine answers.
Well, Vikings will have a chance, like I said, against the Bears, but you go at Bears, home against San Francisco, then at Green Bay, I think, and then it's trade deadline. So you tell me what's
On
going
the
to happen.
NFL trade deadline, where we might have as many as 4 trades made. So
Yes.
don't worry about it. They
It
are
could be it could be 1-7 at that point. I'm so down on them right now because
well,
they've shown me no evidence that they're any good this year. They're just a bad team.
and
I don't
the
care what
people
Rumble
think he's
says.
going. People think he's going to the Jets. Zach Wilson's better than Cousins. He's fine. He's not as awful as they thought he was. Anyway, they're not taking Cousins off your hands. Forget it. So.
Grand Casino would like to take a moment and salute the true football fan. The passion, the hope, the anticipation, that incomparable feeling of winning. Grand Casino would also like to take a moment to remind you that you can find all that anticipation, thrill, and winning at Grand Casino. Grand Casino, let your story begin.
Gophers, on the other hand, Patrick, might be as awful as we think they are, at least against better teams. Michigan's awfully good, but man, 52-10. You shouldn't. I don't think you should lose like that if you were thinking of yourself as a serious program. That's too much. That's too big of a home loss to anybody.
If you think yourself as a serious program and you're getting beat 52-10 and you throw 15 passes, you got a gutless coach who just trying not to get his arse kicked is going on here. They threw the lucky touchdown pass to Jackson at the end of the half. That was 33 yards.
35, I think, yeah.
30. The rest of the game, they threw for 19 yards. They threw 15 passes the whole game. They're down 30 in the fourth quarter, in the second half, and they don't throw the ball. They're just trying to run the clock to keep the score down. What a joke. He gets 50,000 people in there, and you basically say, okay, we're not going to try at all. All I want to do is not have to say I gave up 60 points some game. It was ridiculous. And the guys, what's he going to, last week, I guess he doesn't do a press conference this week because it's an off week, but last time it was, okay, I just got embarrassed by Northwestern. I'm going to complain about not having NIL money. That'll change It's funny, though. I'm going to look at it, Gopher Hole and other sources, and it's all about, we don't have enough NIL money. Now, 3 weeks ago, you were going to win the Big Ten West because you'd beaten Lafayette or something. And now we don't have enough. Now it's the eternal excuse. We don't take the program seriously, blah, blah, blah. You're paying the guy $6 million. Come on. Let's hold his feet to the fire here. It's to go out there and put that performance on and not try to move the ball. Let the kid throw 30 passes and see if he can get better. Because right now he stinks. And you started the season saying this guy's got NFL potential, and so far they are averaging 132 yards a game passing. It's a joke. So,
I don't think
go ahead. But
I was gonna say I don't think the Gophers are gonna like life without the Big Ten West. Saw those schedules. Saw those schedules released, and I was like, that looks a little harder than it used to be, doesn't it?
Yes. Guess what, though? They still got a chance to be 5-4 and tie for the Big West title, for God's sake. This little Iowa's terrible. Wisconsin's okay. You've already beaten Nebraska. Your toughest game, Illinois is awful. Did you watch that game by chance?
No.
Did you watch Illinois? It was a clown show of Illinois and Nebraska. Nebraska should have beaten them 100-7. And they kept screwing up. They were as rotten as they've been for the last 5-6 years, but they still, Illinois is awful. And they beat them 20-7, and it could have been 50-7. It was unbelievable. They were down inside the 20 the whole game. It was brutal.
It couldn't have been as bad as the end of that Miami Georgia Tech game, though. Did you see the end of that game?
I saw that the guy didn't take a knee.
All they had to do was 39 seconds left, and the other team Georgia Tech had no timeouts left, and Miami had the ball on third down. All they had to do is take a knee, because then it resets it 40, right? And then that's over. Yeah. But instead they take a shotgun snap, hand the ball off, the guy gets stripped, and they recover. But then it's still like at the 25 with 30 seconds left, like the Georgia Tech 25. But then they get it to midfield with 2 seconds left. They throw this desperation pass where somebody for some reason gets behind 4 defenders and just waltzes into the end zone for a touchdown. It was the strangest,
right?
Yes, it was the strangest. It was I saw somebody posted a win probability chart, and they showed if you have this ball, if you have this situation, this down and distance with this much time left, and your opponent has no timeouts left, what are your odds of winning? And the paragraph is you're only going to win this game if your opponent does something really dumb or something like that. It's well, that's right. What happened. That's what happened.
Well, I didn't see his excuse. What did he? Did
he just defended it? He was well, we're just gonna we keep playing the game out, something like that. I'm just take a knee, just take the knee, and you win the game. You walk off the field, and the game is over.
Why can't any coach ever say, I'm an idiot? Okay.
Yeah.
I screwed up completely. I should go in there and apologize to my team, and I apologize to anyone who bought a ticket for this game or something.
There was a Miami player on the sideline they kept showing over and over again, and you could read his lips, and he was just saying, what the bleep are we doing? Over and over. Boy,
you can lose it. You can lose them in a hurry now too. They can say, those Miami athletes have options. They can get out of there. They could leave Tuesday, and play somewhere else next year. So, I saw that. But anyway, let's not detract from Coach Fleck's gutless effort to hold the score down against Michigan. That's okay. Once it got to be 35-10 or whatever it is, his whole devotion was to keep the embarrassment level to a minimum. And guess what? 52-10. You didn't do that. But the 58-0 goes back to when it was the worst loss since a lot of years, right? A lot of years.
Yeah, I went, and Michigan is really good. Although he talked them up good in the postgame. He said that was the best team he's seen in 11 years of coaching.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he did. He did the whole thing. And then he also says, this is all on me. Again.
Yeah.
What? I want to know the what. I don't want to know the all. I want you to know specifically what you did wrong.
Yeah.
It's all on me. I hate that when he says all on me, but he doesn't. And I don't go to the games, okay? I don't have any interest in fighting the crowd and go to Gopher games the way I have other people cover it. But I just want them to say, could you Could you kind of go down the list here of what you screwed up?
What was the
It's
all?
all
Yeah,
on you. All on you. What's
you
all
said,
covered here?
you said all. What is
Yeah.
what's
Well,
covered in
what does
all?
that cover here?
It's like an insurance policy. What does all cover
No,
here?
no. We haven't done much player surfing. The player
Oh,
surfing was. Did they send out a notice? Could we get the cameras in there we get the video in there for the coach surfing? Do we send out a notice in the third quarter saying coach surfing has been canceled for tonight's game?
I
Attention
don't know.
media.
I don't
Uh,
know, but it's not been good, and I worry that maybe even 2024 and beyond, we're going to find out that things were okay, but we're getting propped up by a pretty bad Big Ten West for a while, and some pretty
yeah.
soft schedules
And
along
I
the
know
way.
the transfer portal is really important these days, and they've gotten a lot of FCS type guys, and they've got from the not even I mean from the minor conferences like MAC and the stuff who've been pretty good players for them. But they're recruiting 2 years ago in 2022. That class was last in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
It was like 50 something, and last year was 40 something. It was better like than three or four, but. And of recruiting, we always, we inevitably read that they're sixth in the nation with recruiting in like
right
October
before. Yeah,
or September because they signed their whole class early,
right.
and then everybody else is waiting for the 4 stars and the 5 stars, and the recruiting has not been. The recruiting hasn't been a heck of a lot better than it was with Killen Clay's. He had the one really good year. He was like 27th or 28th nationally, but the last 2 years have been 45th and 52nd or something like that. And
Yeah.
one of the years it was the worst in the Big Ten. So anyway, it was a pathetic performance. There's no doubt about it. Wouldn't it? I thought that Chip's lead was pretty good, reminding us when Delaney, when he approved this,
Oh yeah,
he said it was a cyclical.
yeah.
It's cyclical. And Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan are the three best teams in the league every year.
Every year since then, pretty much every year
Well,
since then.
what really screwed it up is Nebraska turning into a dog. Nebraska was supposed to give you some strength in the division instead of turning into a mutt that they are. So that's been part of it. But this 18-team thing is not going to work. There's got to be some organization of it. You can't just. I said, they threw darts in the commissioner's office, and this is the schedule they came up with. Now, like Ohio State, they got a brutal schedule, though. So what are you going to do if you make one team schedule like, twice as tough as somebody else, and then they don't end up with, they said with one of the two best records in the league, the two best records in the league are going to play. Well, you got 18 teams. What are you going to do when you have 7 teams that are 6-7-2 or something? How do you break the tie? We don't have any idea what they're going to do here.
And we're calling it
ratings.
And we're calling it the Flex Protect 18 plan, which is very Big Ten. That's very Big Ten. Only the Big Ten can come up with something like that. The Flex Protect 18.
Yeah, so we get to play. Meaning we get to play Wisconsin and Iowa every year.
Yeah,
we know Little Brown. We don't have a lot of people wanting to keep. I'm the only one that wants to keep the Little Brown Jug game going. Damn it, because I think we've now lost 52 of the last 56. So maybe something like that is probably caused it. You haven't beat a team too often when Randy Johnson can write a feature on a victory from 30-some years ago on Thursday, and then I can write
40.
On one. I can write one from 40 years ago, the 1977 one, or 50 years ago. So anyway, they don't happen often, but it was, my friend Mike Augustine, when he covered for the St. Paul paper, he'd go to Ohio. He'd cover the Gophers, and he'd go to Ohio State, or we didn't go to Ohio State that often, actually. He'd go to Ohio State or Michigan, and he'd come back and he'd be humming the Hail to the Victors for about a month. They'd drive you crazy. he just accidentally, during his free time, he was a hummer, and
Patrick.
Yeah.
Listen to
Yes.
this. Listen to this. I want to get Adrian Heath, and we'll get out of here. But listen to this schedule next year. Just listen to it. I mean, at Illinois to start, that's fine. This is just the Big Ten schedule. Then at Michigan, home against Iowa, home against Maryland, home against Penn State, USC, Rutgers, UCLA, Wisconsin. This might not be in order. I think this is just the opponents.
That sounds like 3 and 6.
I mean, you throw USC and UCLA in there. Rutgers isn't that bad anymore. You got Penn State, you got Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Maryland's better. I mean, man, like they're 7 of the 9 teams are flat out better than they are right now.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although I wouldn't give up on beating Iowa.
Yeah,
even if it's
just never happened. It's never happened.
That could be a 6-3 game. It could be a 6-3. I saw it. I went to Tom's Watch Bar before the Twins game. And place was jammed. 110 TVs, 109 of them on college football. One little game, one little TV on the Orioles and Texas. But there were a couple of Iowa guys in there, and I said, "How's that Brian Ferentz offense looking to you?" And they cast some aspersions in a profane manner when I was teasing them about the Brian Ferentz offense. So, but they won again this week, right? Like 20-10 or something. They might have scored. I don't know. But it gets a little tougher and it gets a little nonsensical. And when you look at the standings, and they're going to be 8, they can't do it this way. They got to have 2 9-team divisions or something. You got to have some formula of. You can't look at a team and say, "Geez, the poor Gophers, they're tied for 16th." That's
You're going to get relegated.
That's right. Yeah, that's what they should have, relegation. That's what they should
go play and let them swap with St. Thomas at some point.
They could have the top 12, and then they could have the 6 teams that finish last could be playing for the right to go to some bowl game in Detroit. It could be the Motor City. The Motor City division could be the same as the second division in British soccer. The Motor City division. Whoever wins, no matter what your record is, you go to the Motor City Bowl. That would be. I think that would work. Okay.
Oh, Patrick, last thing. Adrian Heath fired. I wrote about it on Friday, but last of a breed, probably. Last of a breed. We lost Zimmer. We lost Heath now.
Yeah, the coaches who would tell the truth. We don't have many of those left. The woman that's Gabbard, is it? What's her name?
Sherry Ballard.
Sherry Ballard. She said that the fact they lost 5-1 and they'd lost 7, they'd gone 7 winless games. That wasn't really the reason for the decision. So I said, congratulations to her, because the ability to lie is very important for anybody who's an executive with a sports team in town. When the media asks you a question, the first thing you got to do is, what lie should I tell them? Okay, that's it. You got to have your lies down to, go over and have a seminar with Fleck. He can tell you how to try to change the narrative. Okay, so
and then they went out and won 5-2 over the weekend, and they still have an outside chance. They have an outside chance of the playoffs. Still, they got to beat Sporting KC, which they never do, and they got to have a little help. But they can still make it.
I got a hunch deep in their heart most of the players hated Adrian, don't you? Because he'd call them out.
Well, plus, I'm the guy who's been here for 7 years. I mean, it's probably the Zimmer effect, right? Like, a guy's been hard on you. You've got a certain amount of respect for him, but you got a guy who's not afraid to speak his mind. And over time, it probably just the message wears thin, and that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make any difference. They'll still have 19,000 there, and some of them will actually know the names of 5 players on the Loons team, but some of them might actually know who scored or when everybody's singing. So anyway,
well, Patrick, good stuff. We'll talk to you again next week. I'm sure we'll have even more to get to then.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe the Twins will still be playing. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be nice. That'd be fun. See ya.
Okay, see ya. Goodbye.